Hey guys, I'm Alisha Merrick. You are watching Jamily TV, and today I am going to be cutting my own hair, which I have never really done. Okay, I have trimmed my own bangs. I've trimmed random things in my hair, gum out of my hair from my kids or things like that. But today I'm going to be attempting to trim a good amount of hair and add long layers. I watched a few tutorials online. The one that I am going to kind of follow today is from Pickup Limes. The hairstyle she did is most similar to what I'm trying to accomplish. The only difference is I have bangs and she doesn't. Since moving to Samoa, I have grown out my bangs a lot. I prefer straight bangs or fringe, depending on where you're from, what you call it. But Samoa is not very conducive to having straight fringe because the air is basically like water. It's kind of like we live in this beautiful sauna. Like, it's just very humid. I straightened my hair today, which you can barely tell, but I straightened it for cutting it. It's been over a year since I've had my hair cut and the ends are really bad. I also lost a lot of hair soon after we moved here. I don't know if it was the stress of selling all of our things and moving here, or I also stopped nursing Noli not long after we moved here, if it was hormones, whatever it was. You can see this is a lot of the regrowth. My hair is normally quite thick, but this regrowth obviously isn't as long as the rest of my hair, so the ends of my hair are really straggly and thin and damaged, and I just need to trim them because I can't handle it anymore. So I'm a little nervous. The lovely lady in Pickup Limes made it look really easy, and she's beautiful and her hair is beautiful, and it makes me think, oh, I can look like her. My hair can look like that, but I know my hair is not going to look like that. My hair is damaged and I'm just not that skilled. But the reason I'm doing this is because if I can do it, like, probably your like 6-year-old could do it. I'm also using some rusty scissors thanks to the nice humid weather in Samoa. I feel like everything we own is either rusty or mildewed. Even my hair. My hair is like rusty and mildewed, so I need to cut it off. But if you'd like to either one, laugh at the results, then stick around, or two, be excited with me that it actually turned out. Fingers crossed. Let's do it. I probably need to take my glasses off, which I'm not real excited about because I just don't see as well without them, and then I'm trying to cut my hair. In the tutorial that I watched, she recommended either having your hair wet and a spray bottle to keep wetting it through the process, or straightening it. I opted for straightening. She recommended separating the hair into the top 2/3 separated from the bottom third, and then tying up that top 2/3. And then splitting that bottom third down the middle of your scalp in the back and pulling it forwards. So my hair, it's nearly all the way down to my muli, which means bum in Samoan. And I'm gonna be trimming it nearly up to my susus, which is boobs in Samoan. So there you go. There's your vocab for today. So she says to take these longest pieces. This is gonna be my guide for how long my hair is going to be. Pull it taut, and I want it to eventually be about here in length. She recommends cutting it kind of a blunt cut first, and then cutting up into the hair, point cutting it with my rusty scissors. They're not point cutting very well. And then using this as a guide for this hair. When you use it as a guide, cut like to that length, but kind of right before it. You can see the guide in here. So pull the hair taut, and I cut this, and then point cut into that. It already looks better. So I'll do the same thing on the other side and try and make them even. If not, I'll have to stand a little cockeyed so my hair doesn't look all uneven. Oh, my ends are so thin. Bring the rest of this forward, find my guide. Already better, yay! But now comes the hard part. The hard part is layers. She cut really beautiful long layers, and that's my goal here today, but we'll see what happens. So you take down that top 2/3 that you tied up, and then you split your hair down the middle. Even if you don't wear a middle part. Since I have bangs, I know it's going to be a little different. I feel like I'm not very good at parting my hair. So after you have a middle part, then go on the right side of your head about a centimeter, which I don't really know what a centimeter means, but I'm gonna think it's not very far over, and flipping that to the left. I feel like it still almost looks like a middle part, so I'm gonna do a little bit more. The wind is very helpful in this process. Okay, that seems more like a bit of a right part. Then you tie up the hair on the right side. And then you take about that same amount of hair on the left side of your part. This is what's going to be the shortest layer of your long layers. Now a lot of mine is bangs, so I'm having a hard time getting all my long hair here. Okay, so my bangs aren't really going to be included in this process because they're too short, but pull the hair. You decide how long you want this to be. So I don't really know what that is up in the air. I want it to come to about my shoulder. So it's kind of about here. But I want all the hair pulled tight. I'm sure it's always better to err on the side of caution and err on the side of length, but this looks like when I bring it down, it'll be about where I want it. So keep the hair taut between your fingers and blunt cut it again a little farther away than the length you actually are going for. Whew, that's a lot of hair. Feeling a little nervous, feeling a little something. Whew. And then you like point cut into that. So now this is going to be the guide for the rest of your hair. My bangs are kind of cumbersome, so use a little clip. Okay, so I'm gonna make another layer here. You use the same guide every time, but the reason this works is because of the shape of your head. It's round, and this is closer to the ground than this is. So even though you're cutting to the same point every time, the hair will fall longer as you go down your head, if that makes sense.
But it did not really make sense to Alisha, as she forgot to pull the hair straight up first.
And make sure not to cut your guide every time you cut, so cut a little bit below it, blunt cut, and then point cut into it.
You went away and so cliche, you didn't say goodbye. I've been waiting for so long. Still
this is Alisha realizing she just screwed up. Wamala!
Okay, so I already messed up. Yay! So I didn't pull it up enough before pulling it down when I tried to make my second layer, and it ended up cutting at like the same spot. So I have a really thick first layer now. At the end, she cut around her face and framed that anyway, so that'll make additional layers. Hopefully I can fix what I just did.
With all these things I'm going through, I still wish the best for you. You're not the only one to love. There's plenty more under the sun. You'll find the one you need. Reach your total fantasy. You go out and get him, and I will find a better you. Ooh.
Okay, so you can see there is a big line. I'm gonna go back in and point cut that more and fix that after I do the other side. Before you tie off this section that you just did, you need to take some of your guide hair over.
Bring you to a screeching stop. There's no way to save your heart.
Mark it.
You just gotta play your part, and it will turn out.
Okay, so you can see the guide hair here. Short layers, so start a new line over here. Pull it all the way up really good so we don't have a repeat of my first issue.
With all these things I'm going through, I still wish the best for you. You're not the only one to love. There's plenty more under the
So you can see it is making layers that we're gonna clean up in a minute. Oh, something else I just realized I messed up on. She tied back that bottom third of her hair and didn't include it in her layers. So I've totally bombed this. But if I bombed it this much, and maybe it can turn into something okay, then you can too. And maybe you should watch her tutorial instead of mine. And watch it more closely than I did. Okay, do you like this? It's real even. It's not bad. I didn't lose much length. I'm gonna go in and clean up these layers and then add shorter layers here to help this blend a little better, hopefully. I'm sorry if you're cringing out there, like if you actually know how to do this and you're like, oh, sister, what are you doing? I'm trying to cut my own hair because I'm in Samoa and don't know anyone to cut my hair. I don't even know where this hair came from. Where you been? Ugh, this wind is not helping. It feels nice. It's not helping my cause. Okay, so for this, you section to your ears. So I go from the middle part to right behind my ear and pull all of that forward all around the crown of my head. You can see where there's way too much of the same layer length here because of my first mess up of the tutorial. But I want these more layered anyway. To do that, you hold this out and you cut it like diagonally. And she said because she's right-handed, it's hard to do one way, so one way she cuts upwards and the other way she cuts down. I'll see what works for me. I feel like I need to go over that again. Lucky for me, my hair grows really fast. So this funny little layer here should be sorted out and not too long. I think I'm getting the hang of it though. Like I feel like it's a viable option when you don't have someone who can cut your hair. And you can learn from my mistakes how to make it better. See? Better, huh? Oh, this side. A trick I do with my bangs, which I think should work for here, for cutting at an angle on the right side, is you hold it and then you twist the hair one time and then you can cut that way. So I think it should work. You just have to hold it really tight. So you can see it's working. It's making the layer go the right way. I think that's easier than cutting up, but I'm gonna do it again. So pull it really tight and twist it one time. One half twist, kinda. And then you kinda wanna see if things are about the same length on each side. This side isn't as good as this side, but I think it needs a little bit more. Also, I kind of part my hair from the left over to the right, so this messed up layer will kind of get mixed in with that, and hopefully that'll help some.
I guess our dreams fell asleep. There's no passion in the comatose. Baby, going down, down, down.
And my bangs, I don't think I'm gonna cut them today.
So hard to stay afloat.
Definitely feels nicer already. There's more of a line here than I would like, but I think it'll grow out okay, and I don't think it'll be too noticeable. I'm gonna do a little bit more.
I'm letting you go. This time I know it for sure. Just thought I should let you
So,
know.
there's my Pinterest fail of the week for you. But it's not so bad, and I think curled you won't even be able to tell. And like I said, I never wear it straight here because straight don't last in Samoa. So what do you think, guys? B+ for effort. So if you find yourself living in paradise that's lacking in the hair salon department and you want to try and cut your own long layers, then learn from my mistakes. Make sure you pull it all the way up first before pulling it out. It makes a difference. If you cut your own hair like this, or if you have tips or tell me how to do it better next time, comment below. I'm obviously not a professional, so I don't pretend to be, but If I can do it with a pair of rusty scissors in Samoa with multiple mistakes and have decent results, then I have high confidence that you can do an awesome job at cutting your own hair. So good luck, tell me if you do, and send us some pictures, we'd love to see it.
I don't think we got enough time to sort out all the fights, sort out all the lies.
So I have a friend picking me up any minute. I just used the curling wand on my hair for like 5 minutes. It was really fast. Layers make it go faster, I think, but I think it's pretty good. I think it looks a lot better than what it did. If someone's looking real close, they'll be like, oh, you jacked up that layer. And I did, I own it. But my hair is pretty forgiving, and when I hit my goal weight, I plan on doing something drastic anyway, so stay tuned.
Letting you go. This time I know it for sure.